Good morning, everybody. Aloha. Thank you very much for coming out. My name is Rob Hackford. I see some familiar faces out here, but for those that are new to the program, I'm from the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. That's a local nonprofit that we're all volunteers, and we coordinate these meetings, and we do lots of export mentoring and helping companies one-on-one develop export plans and what have you. So we put on a series of seminars every year. This is sort of the first of those seminars for the year of 2020, and we'll talk about the schedule of the other seminars later. We're very fortunate to have a grant from DBET that allows us to put on these seminars. We're also very fortunate that we're able to use this wonderful facility at the Foreign Trade Zone. So we'd like to thank the Foreign Trade Zone for that. It's a fantastic facility with very fast Wi-Fi and great audio visual components. So thank you again for allowing us to be here. I mentioned that we get a very generous grant from DBET every year to put these programs on. DBET in turn gets a grant from SBA in Washington, D.C. So we'd like to thank SBA for that as well. You'll hear from some speakers later that'll give some details about SBA. Right now, I'd like to turn it over for some comments from Mike McCartney, who is the director of DBET.
Thank you, Bob. Aloha. Aloha, everyone. First of all, I want to say mahalo to Jane for helping us fund this program through the Small Business Administration. Can you please give her a hand? And I see our old friend John Holman from Commerce Department. Zal's been working on trade. Thanks for being here. And then we have our team from DBET. So can you guys raise your hand? Because they're the ones that make it happen, Dennis's team. I know today was a rainy day with thunder and lightning, but that's kind of like our economy, right? There's thunder, there's lightning, there's fear, there's anxiety, then there's the sunshine right now, and there's hope. And I think the hope is in this room. And if you look at Hawaii's economy, throughout the years, we've had many ups and downs, many industries that have come and gone, many exports, imports, stories to tell that are political, economic, social, and somehow we've always found a way to make it forward. And as we go forward into the future, people like you are going to be so important for all of us. So we're so proud to be working with you because DBET's job is to be a facilitative catalyst to help diversify and grow our economy, to grow our economy with local business, small business, the products that you create to share with the world. And last year, all of you working together, we had about $18 million in export, 18.5 million, and that amounted to about $30 million in economic activity. And that's just the start. But I think even more than money, why that's important, it's a way of life for all of you. It's a way of life for the products that you create and the people that work for you. And if you can do that, you can create a life and then start sharing Hawaii with the world and the world with Hawaii. We will start doing more than just economic development. We're starting to make peace in the world. And that's really what you're doing. And so our job is to assist you at the trade shows, assist you with these programs. We're not the experts. We're one of the members of your team. And please count on us to help you in any way we can to fill in the gaps. There's no crazy questions. There's no crazy demands. You might have better ideas than us because you're in the market making stuff happen every day. So we learn from you, and I hope you learn something from us. And this partnership, I think, will be one where we collaborate, we have communication, common understanding, and trust. And with that collaboration, we can get synergy where 1 + 1 = 3. And we can share Hawaii with the world and create a place that our children and children's children can choose to call Hawaii home. Your product might be small now, but that's okay. That's great, because that's creating a life and an opportunity. And so when we look back, I think it goes back to the prophecy that Auntie Pilahi said about Hawaii. And she said, as the world searches for peace, the world will turn to Hawaii because Hawaii has a key, and that key is aloha. And your businesses are sharing aloha not only with yourselves and your employees and our community, but with people all over the world. So for that, DBED is eternally thankful to have you as a partner. So good luck, have a lot of fun today, and we're here to help. Mahalo.
With that, we've alluded to SBA. Well, I'd like to bring up Jane Sawyer for a few words. Jane is the District Director of Hawaii and the Pacific, which includes Guam and American Samoa. She's very busy, and we'd like to thank her again for being here and for the generous grant.
Aloha, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's dried out by now and enjoying a little coffee. And hopefully you've had a chance to meet somebody new today as you come in. Kind of extend Mike's message a little bit, creating new partnerships, because it is true. We are all in this together and we can't do it alone. So first good thing is that you're all here today to see what is available to you and how you can use the other resources, because your adventure in exporting really opens a lot of new doors and not just new places, but a lot of new doors, a lot of new contexts, a lot of new strategies and ways of doing business. So, you know, the State Trade and Export Program, or STEP, HiSTEP, is a program that began as a 3-year pilot trade initiative in 2010. It was made permanent in 2015. So that's a pretty good track record of getting started and getting all of Congress across the country behind this program. And the reason is because it got real results. The stated goal of the program is increasing the number of small business exporters and in increasing their export sales. So that means this program is meant to have an impact on your bottom dollar. So what you do to bring in new dollars to our state, new dollars to your business. So again, you create jobs, you create a stronger, thriving community. So these are all things that are tied together. Since the program started, over $139 million have gone out to the states to help with this project and to help small businesses learn to export, provide more resources, and to make the move and to make your move into new markets with confidence. How many of you have participated in the STEP program previously? Okay, so a couple of you. So, I mean, it opens doors, gives you new tools, gets you into new markets, and you can continue going as you gain that experience and build on it. One of the reasons the program was made permanent was because of the documented success and the return on investment. Jamie and her team over at DBED have to, you know, look at a lot of different measures, see what's happening, track your sales, because that is why they keep coming back and giving Hawaii an additional grant. Because I think out of the 9 years the program has been around, or 8 years the program has really been getting money out after they developed the rules and everything, is we came back to Hawaii almost every year because this program gets results. And we see businesses growing and expanding. Somebody who was maybe making a few buckets of hot sauce is selling tons of hot sauce in Japan now through going through this program. So there are a lot of ways to grow your business dramatically. So in 2016, SBA gave DBED about $400,000 to help you with exporting. The next year it was $600,000. Next year, it's $682,000. So you see that list of trade shows that you can participate in, or shows that you can go to on the mainland for different types of products. You need to really examine that list and follow the lead of the folks you'll be talking to and doing consulting with to learn about what you can do and how to get there. Locally, we're grateful for the participation and support of many others: the Office of International Trade, the Foreign Trade Zone, the Pacific Export Council, the Small Business Development Center, the Mink Center for Business and Leadership, the Economic Development Boards. The list goes on and on. Some of you may have even been on the neighbor islands as they kicked off this program last week and into this week, but it is statewide. There are going to be new people for you to meet and new businesses for you to partner with. Your interest in readiness to export offers you many advantages to you as a small business owners, to the state economy, and to support a thriving and healthy community. Export goods can help increase your profits, reduce your market dependence, and stabilize seasonal sales. Lots of ways to go, particularly in the big Pacific arena that we're in. Connecting with SBA resources and partners to help get you exporting. That's what this is all about. 96% of the consumers are outside the U.S., and 2/3 of the purchasing powers across the world is outside the United States. There are customers out there that probably are looking for or want your product. Hawaii's top 10 exports, it's a kind of an interesting list because you probably wouldn't think that, you know, the scrap metal and the petroleum and shrimp military equipment would be high on that list. But they're very concentrated, and those are big ticket items. What people are really looking for are those products that represent Hawaii. So you'll see manufacturing adds value. Those chips, the chocolate, the coffee, the jams, the jelly, the clothing, the textiles, all of those, you start with a raw material and you make it somehow better. And people are looking for that special cachet from Hawaii. So today, most people are going to talk to you. You're going to meet a lot of our other resource partners. They're going to tell you a little bit about how they can help you as a specific resource. Basically, SBA connects with a lot of them and provides funding for a lot of these programs. So I'm not going to go through how we help you with government contracting or what we can do with your counseling and training, because the real experts are going to talk to you about that. Where we have a special niche is to help you fund that growth and to fund those export transactions. SBA is really the biggest small business bank in the world. We guarantee loans with all sorts of lenders for all types of transactions at any stage in your business growth or your business development. We can help you in new stages. We help you when you're ready to grow. We help you when you're going to expand to the new market. But we have 3 special programs that really work in the world of global marketing and international trade. And those include our Export Express loan. And those loans can go up to $500,000, and they're designed to deliver capital quickly. You have a completed application, you know what you're going to use the funds for, and it's almost any legitimate business purpose, and you can get that loan approved through the bank of your choice. And I do recommend working with your banker and then also with another organization like the SBDC or our Women's Business Center to kind of review your financials and help you put that proposal together, because that's going to help you get a successful response a lot faster. So Export Express loans, Export Working Capital loans. This financing is in advance of finalizing an export sale or contract, and it provides a lot of flexibility for negotiating the parameters. You can get up to $5 million with a pretty fast turnaround if your application is complete. So that is one of the things you're going to want to know as you go into really entering an export market, is that you've got your ducks in a row in terms of your financial management and knowing where your resources are and the money that you have available to invest in this endeavor, because it is going to take you some adjustments. Those are some of the things that you'll learn in working with the team on the HiSTEP program. International trade loans help you enter international markets and make bigger investments. Loans offer a combination of fixed asset, maybe you got a big deal and you're going to need a bigger facility, working capital financing and debt refinancing with an SBA match and a maximum guarantee of 90%. Some of these higher guarantees you find with these loans, I mean, you can get a regular loan to have some working capital for your business. It doesn't need to be directed directly for exporting or for an overseas deal. You can still get capital from SBA, but that is one thing that differentiates us from some of the other resource partners. We do have a lot of tools there, but I definitely recommend sitting down with the consultant as you put this plan together. All these programs offer free confidential counseling, and they're top-notch. Even some of the folks with the Small Business Development Center have special credentialing on being an export consultant. So you have great resources out there. I hope this introduction to exporting will get you into the game and keep you interested in growing your business. And like Mike said, we are truly here to help, and we hope you will find a way to do something like that for you. So have a good trip through the HiSTEP program in 2019-2020. Rob?
Thank you, Jane. Now, I'd like to bring up Jamie Lum and Mark Ritchie from DBET. These two people are actually folks you want to get to know because they implement the program that we've been talking about today, HiSTEP 2020. Please come up. This is Jamie Lum and Mark Ritchie.
Thank you, Rob. Do we have a clicker, or are you going to advance for us? Okay, thank you. Aloha and good morning, everyone. Thank you to our director, Mike, and thank you to Jane Sawyer for opening us up today, and thank you to Rob for being our MC today. I'm Jamie, this is Mark. We're with DBED, and we're happy to be standing here for another year of HiSTEP. This is the 7th year that we've received it. The program is 8 years old, as Jane mentioned, and we've been fortunate to receive a grant just about every year of the program. So as already has been mentioned, it is a grant that we received from SBA. It's a competitive grant that we put in a proposal for annually, and other states go for it, as well as some of the territories, so we have been very fortunate. We don't do this alone. We do work with our partners, like Rob and the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, with Jane and her team, John Holman back there with U.S. Department of Commerce, with the Small Business Development Center, and we have people here, Lori and Dennis, as well as we're thankful to FTZ for allowing us the use of this room. Innovate Hawaii is here, and the Mink Center, Colleen is here. You'll hear from all of these partners, but basically what I'm trying to say is we don't do it alone, and we've created this whole network of people that are here to help small businesses in Hawaii, whether you are only thinking about exporting, all the way to those who are already exporting but looking at diversifying into different markets. This program is for everyone. Okay, next slide, please. So we have 3 components to our program. And you'll see these circles, how we want to make sure you know that it's all supposed to work together, but we have 3 components. We have our HiSTEP, what we call our training, Export Readiness Program, of which this is part of it, the training and business advising. We have our what we call our Hawaii Pavilions, or the trade shows and consumer shows, and then we have our HiSTEP company assistance, which is direct financial assistance that companies can apply for. So those are the 3 components. They're really meant to starting with training to kind of build a foundation for companies so that you can either develop an export plan if you don't already have one, or you can build upon one that you already have, or tweak it as you need it, and you do this as you go through each of the training and work with your business advisors. So first, eligibility. You need to meet the standards of being a small business, and 98% of the businesses in Hawaii will meet this. One of the main things in that first point that I want to point out is in order to qualify for any of the HiSTEP programs, you need to have a product or a service that is 51% made in the U.S. or value added in the U.S. So that's very important. If you cannot meet that, then I would say anyone interested in the program, we don't turn anyone away unless you do not meet any of the eligibility requirements, and that's a big one. You have to certify that you're not barred from receiving federal funds, and then as far as the state goes, you need to be registered to do business in the state and be registered with the Department of Taxation. So those are the basic eligibility requirements to be part of HiSTEP. Okay, next slide. Okay, so with the export readiness, we have our training programs and we have business advising. So you received a packet of information when you checked in. There is a schedule of training seminars that we have scheduled starting in January, going all the way through June. Rob is in charge of putting that together. We work with the Hawaii Pacific Export Council to put these programs together. The sessions are, we usually start out with the Export 101, which is a general overview of exporting. but then we go into topics that are either issue specific or market specific. So these are all meant to give you information, again, to help you in terms of looking at what you are doing in terms of your own export development plan. So take a look at that. Everything that we talk about as far as HiSTEP is on our website, which is Invest.Hawaii.Gov under the exporting tab. So everything we talk about today you can find on our website. So you can look for, that's where you would go to sign up for future training programs. We normally, they're offered not only, they're held here at the Foreign Trade Zone, but you can also sign up. We have them via webinar for those of you that may be far away on this island or for the neighbor island companies. We also do videotape them and archive them so that you can look at them at another time that's more convenient for you. I'll have Mark talk a little bit about the business advising portion.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. The other part of the Export Readiness Program, in addition to the seminars that we do, is one-on-one business advising. And what sort of starts that, I know for seminars, we have you go to Eventbrite, and that's so we know that you're attending this, but also we have enough coffee and that type of thing. But to actually get in our system, we actually have a registration form here. You can see it's right up there. And what that is, you're not applying for anything, but you're letting us know who you are, where you're at in your exporting. And what that does is it triggers our business advising program. So you go in there, and I know some people in the past years have signed up, and so to say, oh, do I need to do it again? We kind of ask everybody each year to go do that. And the reason we have that is we pull into our database, we can actually see, oh, you've grown in exports, or you're interested in different markets now, or it gives us a sense of where you're at. And then what that triggers, within a week or two, you'll be contacted by one of our business advising partners. And those partners are the Mink Center for Business and Leadership, it's the Small Business Development Center, and then also the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. And what their job is to do is to work with you, find out what seminars you need to go to, help you with your export development plan, and then also look at Hawaii Pavilions, and then also the individual company assistance program, and kind of be your guide through those things and to help your company on an ad hoc basis depending on what your needs are. So I strongly recommend, if you're interested in HiSTEP and you're attending these sessions, go in and register and let us know who you are, and then you'll be in our system, and then we'll be contacting you about the program and how we can assist your company. Thank you.
We should also mention, they're not here yet, but they should be here. Another one of our partners, Innovate Hawaii, under the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation. If you have manufacturing issues, they're one of our partners that we will refer you to for assistance in that area. I think we can move to the next slide. So, as we said, the training, the business advising, is all meant for you to use those tools to put together your export strategy. Once you have that, then we have other elements of the program. Our next element is the Hawaii Pavilions, and that's a calendar of trade shows that we've selected to go into for the year. We do also, in your packet, there's a calendar of the shows for 2020. This year we'll be doing the Surf Expo that's coming up in January. We have a couple of shows that are in the U.S., but they are all international shows, and that's important to point out. This is an export development program, and so at those shows you will find international buyers. So we have the Surf Expo, Natural Products Expo West in March, the Bio International Convention in June, and the Outdoor Retailer in June. Those are U.S. shows. And then in Japan, we're doing FabEx, which is the food and beverage show in Tokyo in April. Hankyu, our that we do with the Hankyu department store. That's a consumer show in July, and then the Tokyo International Gift Show, which is in September. So that's what's on our schedule for 2020. What we do is we purchase a block of exhibit space, and then we recruit companies to come in under the Hawaii banner and under the Hawaii brand. We find that that's a very powerful way of helping to promote our companies. And with the HiSTEP funds, we pay for the space and for the booth build out, and then we charge companies a fraction of what it would cost them to exhibit on their own. So you do pay a little bit, but I would say it's a third or less of what you would pay if you went in as an individual company into a large show, say like the Tokyo International Gift Show, which is huge. And again, you're under the Hawaii brand, and it really brings a lot of recognition to the group of companies that we bring there. You are responsible for paying your own airfare and hotel and those other kinds of expenses, but we have another program that we will talk about that can help assist with certain other types of costs. I also want to point out, because we mentioned up there Department of Agriculture, we want to also help promote their shows. So on the flip side of the calendar of trade shows that we are doing under HiSTEP, we also have, and we partner a lot with Department of Agriculture. They're also doing a number of shows. So there's a calendar of their shows as well, and you can go to their website to sign up for their shows. Okay, next slide. And we'll have Mark talk about company assistance.
Okay, so the third component of our HiSTEP program involves company assistance, and this is where companies can apply for up to $7,500 to pay for certain trade, overseas trade development assistance. And it's a competitive process. We kind of do it through the RFP process, and that is now online, and it's available. If you go to our HiSTEP website, you could sort of download the proposal application. There, it's due, I think, January 6th, or is that what we said? 6th? Yes. And so hopefully people can sort of get that done before the holidays start too intensely. And we'll try to have all of our award decisions made by kind of the third, fourth week of January and notify people. It is a competitive process. In past years, we're usually able to grant awards to about half of the people that apply. And let me just tell you a little bit what we're looking for, and that kind of will just dovetail with the things that Jane has told us. We're sort of giving out money. The pavilions are actually already heavily subsidized. So if you go into one of the Hawaii pavilions, you're already going in at a very discounted rate compared to if you had to go get your own booth space there and things. And then we're doing all the booth build out and things for you. What we're really looking for in this application is your export development plan. In a way, we're kind of trying to force you into doing a really thoughtful export development plan, and what we're looking for is ROI, because that's what SBA is granting from us. So in other words, we give you $7,500, we want to know how that's going to translate into increased exports. And in your export development plan, we're looking for not just maybe you're going to one Hawaii pavilion, but that you're looking at new markets, and that you are going to be increasing exports. And so we're kind of looking at sort of risk, reward types of things, because let's face it, SBA is a tough taskmaster, and they want those metrics. So that's what the committee is looking for, and there's 4 or 5 people on that committee that are judging the applications. One of the requirements for this is we're looking for companies that have $200,000 in revenue or more. And the reason for this is, it takes a while to really get into export markets, and so you have to be able to kind of finance this for a while. It doesn't happen overnight. And so we kind of thought we'd be a little remiss if we sort of, got companies involved and a little bit over their heads if they can't finance this. So that's why we kind of put the $200,000 minimum on that. Now, what can this money pay for? I think we have that on the next slide, Rob. Yeah, we can pay for airfare, trade show booth rental space, the build out of the booth space, shipping of products. We can do the Gold's Key service, which John Holman can talk about, where you have commercial officers in foreign consulates or embassies will put together a meeting program for you to help find distributors, buyers, that sort of thing. And maybe go to the next slide. You can do some localization, meaning a website translation. Let's say you're going into the Japan market, you want to translate your website into Japanese. You can spend up to $3,000 on that. Fees for shipping sample products, and then cost of compliance testing. And what that also includes is, I know a lot of food product manufacturers, you've got to go through the regulatory process, particularly like for Japan, and that could take a little time, and it takes some money, and you have to hire some people to help you. You can spend up to $3,000 on that. And then the last thing is these export research tool subscriptions. You can spend up to $1,000 on that. That would be like the Economist Intelligence Unit, kind of marketing tools, information databases that you could use. Maybe do you want to? Okay, should we keep going? I guess the success metrics we've already mentioned, and Jane has already mentioned, is expanded exports and revenue from exports of Hawaii-produced goods and services. This is what we're really looking at. A larger overall number and larger percentage of Hawaii-based companies that are active in global markets, and then penetration of new markets for Hawaii-produced goods and services. And this last one here, when the committee is looking at that individual company assistance, we're really looking for that type of thing, that you have a really good export development plan, you're looking at new markets, and you're looking at increasing your exports in markets that you're already in. Go to the next one. And here's our website. It's Invest.Hawaii.Gov, fairly easy to remember. It's on the toolbar, but you can go right to exporting in the HiSTEP. And I think the first step, if you're interested in really participating in, even if you're just starting, you're not exporting yet, still come in and register with us. And then through that registration process, we will start working with one-on-one business advising with our partners here, and also with Innovate Hawaii to help you with your scaling up in manufacturing, because by definition, if you're going to go into export markets, meaning you're going to be increasing your per unit output of whatever product you're making. And so you need to think, how are you going to do that? How are you going to be successful in that?
Here's our contact information. Again, the website is Invest.Hawaii.Gov under the exporting tab. I just want to point out and make sure that we make the distinction. So you're interested in HiSTEP and participating in whatever part of the program you want to engage in, you go and you fill out the HiSTEP registration form, okay? And that will get the ball rolling, like Mark said. You'll get referred to one of our partner applications. If you're interested in company assistance, that is a separate process. So make sure you understand it's a separate registration. When you fill in this HiSTEP registration, that is not for company assistance. There is a separate application process for that. So I just want to make that distinction. And also, just because this question has been asked before, that $200,000 revenue, minimum revenue that we're looking for, that's only if you are interested in company assistance. To come into participate in any other part of HiSTEP, you do not need to meet that requirement. So just want to make sure that that point is made. Okay, and then thank you so much for your attention. Mark and I will be here all the way through the end if you have any other questions. Thank you.
Back to me again. As a reminder, I'm Rob Hack from the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. The Hawaii Pacific Export Council, we often just shorten it to HPEC. HPEC is one of 61 district export councils around the United States, and we are here based in Honolulu, actually, in this facility here. It's a nonprofit. We are all, there's about 30 board members of HPEC. We are all vetted by and approved by the United States Secretary of Commerce. We have roughly 3-year terms. on HPEC that can be renewed, and we have to be experts in some facet of exporting. So we have board members that are willing and able to help you in many different aspects of exporting, and we put on a series of seminars every year. I bring up this is our YouTube channel archive of past events. So for example, this year we will have Export University 101. We'll have scaling up operations with Innovate Hawaii. That's a good problem to have if you receive a large international order and you need to scale up your operation quickly to be profitable. That's an excellent program. We'll do an event this year on international trade shows. We'll have our first ever full Export University event on Maui in March. We do international marketing almost every year, and we'll do that again this year. I'll be running that program. In June, we'll have Contracts for Exporters, which is an excellent event where we have a few very prominent local attorneys here who have expertise in Japan or China or some other part of the world, and they'll come and explain the verbiage that needs to be in every single contract that you're working in, roughly what are the costs for working with international attorneys and what have you. It's an excellent program. And then later, we'll be having an event on export plan writing, a workshop just on that to help people develop their overall business plan. A chapter in that should be your export plan, and we'll help you with that. So here is our archive now. Roughly, we're up to 70 videos. This video will eventually make it onto the website in about a week, but you can see our events roughly go in 2 to 3 year cycles now that we've been doing this about 7 years. We don't repeat every event every year, but roughly 2 or 3 years. So we have some market-specific events such as exporting to Japan, exporting to Korea, China, Canada, what have you. Then we've done intellectual property seminars, many different things. So I invite you to go back and look at the archive of videos here. Okay. With that, I'd like to bring up John Holman. He is the director of the Pacific region for the U.S. Commercial Service. He's the executive secretary by law of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. His office is also here at FTZ 9 in the front building. So please, this is John Holman.
Aloha. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Let's give DBED and SBA a hand for all their hard work. All this programming, everything, all these resources that are coming to you today are thanks to their hard work. And one really cool statistic is that all the states and territories compete for these funds. And Hawaii has received the second most dollars per capita to support the STEP program here in Hawaii in the entire country. And that's due to all the hard work of all the people you're hearing from today. So let's give them a round of applause for all that excellent work. Thank you. Okay, now by show of hands, how many of you maintain a global network of offices outside the United States? No hands. Well, I have some good news. You're wrong. Thanks to your tax dollars, we've developed a global network of 250 offices in 80 countries around the world through the U.S. Department of Commerce's U.S. Commercial Service. That's my agency to help you grow your business in foreign countries. Now, if you're just starting a business, you want to connect with the Small Business Development Center, SBA for financing. You'll hear from SBDC shortly. If you are just learning about exporting, you want to get plugged into this program, which is a good thing that you're here. Also take advantage of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council's mentoring and seminars that Rob just mentioned. But when you're ready to export, you're ready to take that next step, you want to connect with my office. I'm your connection point to that global network around the world. And what we do is we help you figure out your export strategy. What markets are best suited for your business? Where can you find the greatest success in the least amount of time? We help you to find buyers, navigate customs, logistics, taxes, documentation, protect your intellectual property, meet regulations on the other side, all those things that go with doing business internationally, we can help you with. As Rob mentioned, or I think maybe Mark mentioned earlier as well, we have the Gold Key service, which is something where we go out and we find partners for you based on your criteria. The type of partners you're looking for, whether it's a distributor, whether it's a retailer, and you're looking to grow your business, we work with my colleagues at the embassies abroad to contact those potential partners, tell them about your business, and then introduce you so that you can be successful in that market. And because we're the US government, it tends to shake out less legitimate partners on the other side, gives you immediate credibility in their eyes when you're going to that market to do business. We have a ton of resources. If you go to Export.Gov, you'll find more information out about some of the resources that are available. You can contact me anytime. And one thing that I want to highlight for you is we have a big event coming up in April 20th through 27th in Asia, where we're doing a big trade event in 5 countries: Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Vietnam. It's called TradeWinds Asia. We've been doing this event now for, I think, 13 years. It moves around to different regions of the world, but this year it's in our backyard in those 5 countries. Now, if you're interested in doing business in any one of those 5 countries, I'd encourage you to go to export.gov/tradewinds, register. It's free. You're not committing to anything, and you can checkbox the countries you're interested in. My colleagues in those countries will then do an analysis for you for free on your potential to be successful in those particular markets. So it's a free market assessment, takes just a few minutes to go on the site, put in your details, and then you can decide later if it comes back positive and you feel like this is a good market opportunity for you, you can then decide if you'd like to participate in that event. If not, no worries, but at least you get some free insights. So that's TradeWinds coming up in April of 2020. And also, if you're participating in the grant funds through DBED and getting some of those assistance funds, this is a fantastic event. In fact, in 2013, we partnered with DBED and took a delegation of about 12 Hawaii companies to TradeWinds Korea that was held in Korea that year. So that's coming up. I'm around, so feel free to connect with me anytime. And again, just want to thank all of our partners for making this such a wonderful program. Thank you.
I would second what John said about these TradeWinds meetings are fantastic because you can visit lots of countries in a roughly 7-day or 10-day span, and you can find out if you think these markets are for you or not, and that will save you a lot of money over time. This whole trip might cost I don't know, $7,000 or something when you pay the fees and the airfare and the hotel. But if you were to go market to market and try to figure out if that market was for you or not, just with a little market research, you're easily going to spend $25,000 at least. So it's a wonderful program, and I encourage everybody to look into that. Our next speaker today is from SBDC Hawaii. That's a Small Business Development Center, Hawaii. It's Lori Hiramatsu. SBDC is another fantastic resource here. Whether you're interested in exporting or not, they can help you with lots of business activities. So thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, good morning, everybody. How's it going? Joe Burns, he's our Center Director for the Oahu Center. He's not able to attend today, but normally he is here. And we like to thank also the US SBA because we are funded in part by the US SBA and also the University of Hawaii Hilo. What we do is we provide no-cost business advisory services to all of you, the small businesses in the state of Hawaii. So we have 5 centers. We have 1 on Oahu, 2 on the Big Island, Maui, and Kauai to help you wherever your needs are. We provide export strategies, advisory, marketing, operation management, feasibility studies, and so forth. So our services run a very broad range of assistance. Here with me today, I'd like to introduce to you I'm a senior business advisor, and my colleague Dennis Wong in the back, he's also a senior advisor. We both come from financial backgrounds, so together we have like over 70 years of banking experience and small business advisory experiences for the state of Hawaii. So it does take a village DBED has done a wonderful job. We've been working with them for several years in helping small businesses with their export, whether it's starting or whether it's getting grants or wherever it may be. And what we do is we work with all our resource partners. I've worked with John, HDDC in the back in terms of manufacturing. So we would like to, we call upon all our resources, even the Mink Center for Business and Leadership. So whatever resources are out there, we will try to connect you wherever your business needs are, because we can't do everything. We rely on all our resource partners. So we hope that wherever you are in this trek to export, whether you're beginning, considering, take advantage of it, because it is free, it is there, and it's a very, very good program. We will be here to the end of the session, so if you have any questions and you want to talk to us, feel free to come over. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, SBDC is a wonderful resource. We work with them closely. In fact, our Maui event this year will be working with SBDC Maui. There's SBDC on the Big Island and Kauai as well. Wonderful people help you with all aspects of your business planning. Next, I'd like to bring up Cindy Matsuki. Cindy, are you here? Thank you. Cindy's from this facility, the Foreign Trade Zone number 9. I'd like to repeat that we're very, very thankful to be here and have access to this wonderful facility. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. This is a nice facility. I'm Cindy Matsuki, and I'm still new within a year, so that's my excuse for reading. So do you guys know what the Foreign Trade Zone is? Does anybody know? Anybody have an idea? Sort of? Okay, well, the Foreign Trade Zone is a location that's on U.S. soil, but it's considered outside of customs territory. So the Foreign Trade Zone number 9 is the state agency that runs this federal program, and it's to help Hawaii companies or local companies to level the playing field because of all the tariffs and the trade agreements and all that stuff. So when you bring your goods into the Foreign Trade Zone, it's still like they're in international territory. So I know this is an export event, but because we're Hawaii, we have limited access to supplies and raw materials. So I'm sure even if you're manufacturing here, you still need to import something. So our goal at the Foreign Trade Zone is to help make importing as easy as possible for you and as efficient as possible. So one of the things that we do offer is warehouse storage. So if you're using your house or a storage facility, we could be a better, more convenient, safer option. We'll manage your inventory, and it's very reasonable rates, and we're right here. You guys probably all drove past the warehouse. There's also a lot of tariff and duty benefits to using the trade zone. So when you're importing products, if you keep them in the Foreign Trade Zone, you don't have to pay your duties or taxes, as if you would if you brought them into U.S. commerce. So what that does is if you bring in bulk, like if you bring in a container of goods, but you're not going to use it all at once, you can keep it at the Foreign Trade Zone for an unlimited amount of time, and you just take what you need and you pay the duties as you take out what you need. If you're exporting, like this whole session is about, if you bring in goods and you fill it up with Hawaii product, if you bring in, say, your containers, your jars, or your packaging, and you fill it up in the trade zone and you export it, you don't even have to pay the duties on what you're importing. So that's one of the benefits of this. And also, if you have defective or waste items, or if you're just testing stuff within the trade zone, you also don't have to pay duties on what you're bringing in, especially with all the weird and horrible trade issues and tariff issues that are going on. I hope you're not being too affected by that. But if you are, I think the trade zone can help with that. Let's see. Also, if you are manufacturing, if you're bringing in items from different countries at different tariff levels, and you put them together and you manufacture them into something else that actually has a lower tariff level, you can pay that lower tariff once you bring it into U.S. commerce. So I know it's kind of confusing, but if you have any questions, you can come see me after. And our newest program, it lets you designate an area on your own property as a trade zone. So you don't actually have to be at our trade zone. So it used to be this really long, like year-long painful process to become a foreign trade zone. So with some policy changes that recently occurred, the Foreign Trade Zone 9 went through this long and arduous process for everybody, so that now it's a really short and pretty minor process to actually get, so say like you have a section of your warehouse that you want to use as a foreign trade zone. We can help you do that. We can help you designate that as a foreign trade zone. So you could bring in products, import products into that portion of your facility and keep it duty-free until you're ready to use it. Or if you export it out, then you're good to go. Let's see. Oh, we are also a one-stop shop for international trade, as you've heard. Like John is here, Rob is here. We also have 5 of the 7 Hawaii customs brokers located at the Foreign Trade Zone. We also have a bunch of shipping and logistics companies here. So you can get all of your import and export stuff done. And your customs brokers are going to be your best friend. They're like your CPA for accounting. They're like your CPA for trade. So we have a lot of great ones here at the Trade Zone. And then lastly, I just wanted to remind everybody that this room that you're in, it's wonderful, thank you for those good words, is available for the public to use. So if you do want to host an event or a class or a workshop, you can rent this room, and it's very reasonable rates, and it comes with all the AV, whatever you need. There's a lot of other great benefits for using the Trade Zone. We have a great staff, very customer service friendly. And I have some information in the back if you didn't grab one coming in. And that's it. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Nicole Pfeffer from the Hawaii State Department of Agriculture. If you look back at the YouTube channel that I showed you about the Hawaii Pacific Export Council YouTube channel, we had an excellent program about a year ago this time on Department of Agriculture specific programs, and I would encourage you to look back at that archive.
Hello. So similar to DBED, we also do trade show assistance and have a Hawaii Pavilion. So we have a handful on that sheet. We have FoodX, which is in Japan. It's the largest food event there for all food and beverage products. And then we have IFIA, the International Food Ingredients and Additives Expo. And that one's for more ingredients such as powdered macadamia nuts or like a hot sauce that you could add to another product. Then we have our NRA show, the National Restaurant Association, that happens in Chicago in May. And that one's also for all food and beverage products. We have the lodging show in July. That is for more like first-time trade show experience and for the local market. So that one's not HiSTEP, but we actually do provide 6 booths for free of charge for first-time trade show people. And then we have the PMA, Produce Marketing Association Summit in October in Texas. And we also have 2 USADA events, which is the Western United States Agricultural Trade Association. And so we partner with like the Northwestern 13 states, and we all kind of go to trade shows together. So there's a lot of trade shows in that one, and we are sponsoring to the China and Paris one. So I'll be in the back if you have any questions about agricultural trade shows.
Thank you very much. This is the program I was referring to, 2019 Exporting of Agricultural Products by Yukashi Smith from Department of Agriculture. That was a really good program if you're interested in agricultural product exporting. Our next speaker is Wayne Inoue from Innovate Hawaii. You've heard us mention Innovate Hawaii several times today. They're an excellent shop. Wayne will explain more about what they do, but every year we've been doing a scaling up operations program, and Wayne and another Wayne are critical components to that.
Aloha, good morning, everybody. My name is, again, Wayne Inoue. I'm with Innovate Hawaii. Want to also introduce our partner, the other Wayne, AKA Fred, back there in the back. And as Rob said, we host a workshop, I think it's going to be in January now, Rob, called the Scaling Up. And it's basically to help companies think about exporting and how to scale up your production. So Innovate Hawaii is mainly around manufacturing. So who is new to export but are manufacturers? New to export? All right, so I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but there are, if, let's say for you, sir, in the back, and not to pick on you, but if you went to a trade show and you got a PO of $70,000 for maybe 7,000 items, and they said they need it in 3 months, 90 days, would you be able to get that to them? You would. Your supply chain, you have everything all worked out. Yes? Okay, well, good. So not everybody's like you, though. There are companies out there, they get a PO of $70,000 and I need to get, or whatever amount, 77,000 pieces, and I need to get it in 3 months. How do you do it? Right? You start calling your auntie, start calling your mom. Hey, I need to start cranking out some pieces because I needed to get it to Japan. What normally happens when you go down that route? Quality, right? Your marketing, you start just grabbing for anything. So what we are, trying to do is we're trying to just educate companies that exporting is good. It's a good business opportunity, but you need to prepare. It's not something that you can just jump into exporting and say, okay, I've got product and I'm ready to go. Because what normally happens, especially in Japan, first impression is everything, right? You unfortunately make a mistake or screw up an order. Not too sure if you're gonna get another PO from that company again, right? So all we're trying to do is we're just trying to educate you how to scale up your manufacturing facility, and it's the key word I just said was scalable. Right? Sometimes you're going to be able to get, really high volume out. Sometimes it's going to be a low season, but it has to be scalable. And what we do in that workshop that Rob talked about was just trying to teach you of how other companies are doing it, how to scale your manufacturing process, right? Working with supply chains, working with your own employees, but also working with who you're selling it to, right? Getting the right information of what's your forecast? How many, how do I work with my suppliers to make sure I have enough macadamia nuts, enough flour? Heaven forbids, you get this big order and you don't have enough supplies. You're gonna be going to Costco and you're gonna be buying pallets of flour or whatever you're gonna get, right? And that's not normally the right way to do stuff. So anyway, that's what that scalable workshop is. But the other thing that we wanted to share this morning is Rob went to our website, and how many of you have heard about the MAP grant? The Manufacturing Assistance Program grant. And that's a great grant that, thanks to our state legislators, that allot money through our G funds to provide a grant for manufacturers. And we can go into that, but it's a 20% refundable grant. So you as a company would invest X amount of money if you apply, and it's qualified as an economic development grant. So you have to explain what you're gonna do with the money, how you're gonna grow your business, how many new products you're gonna do. You can get up to 20% back, right? But it's a refundable grant, right? And there's a few buckets that you can use that money for energy efficiency, for capital equipment, for training, and for feasibility for expansion. And we'll go over this a little bit more. If you have expenses that qualify, you can see Wayne in the back. He's the one that manages our program. But it's a really great program, for people that have already used it. There is really benefits for you to use that money to really scale your business for exporting. So in any case, we are gonna be in the back, and if you have any questions, you can let us know.
Our next speaker is Colleen McAlooney from the Mink Center for Business and Leadership. They're based over at the YWCA over here. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. As Rob said, I'm Colleen McAlooney from the Patsy T. Mink Center for Business and Leadership. We're the only women's business center in the state out of 150 across the country. We do help men, though, too. And our main mission is to specifically help women who want to start or grow their business. So we are, out of all of the partners here that are telling you how they can help you, we're here to help the really little guys. So if you're a startup that's interested in exporting, or you're just a new business and you need you're interested in exporting and you're wanting to ramp up just a little bit, strengthen your business so that you can reach that $200,000 a year level, or maybe get it a little more. And like Wayne said, you can build your business to support filling an order that you could potentially get, then the Patsy T. Mink Center is here to help you with that. And as Rob said, we are at YWCA Oahu downtown, so fairly accessible there. But we're here to help and nurture women and help men too, but we'd love to take care of any of your needs there. Thank you.
Here's your website here. I'm always impressed by the number of events you guys have. I'll just bring this up really quickly. There's a lot going on. Very professionally run operation. Okay, with that, I'm going to close. We don't have any more speakers today, but we're very open to Q&A. I would normally add, usually our seminars are live streamed at the same time, and while I'm here, I'm usually running an online webinar for the neighbor islands and whomever wants to join. Of course, if you're on Oahu, on the North Shore, or what have you, and you can't make it down here, you're welcome to join the webinar. They're free to join. This particular event is not being live streamed, but this is normally when I would be looking for questions from the online community, but and from the live audience here. So if you have anything, please bring it up. Now's a good chance. Almost everybody that spoke today will be here after. You can ask them individually if you have any questions, but if there's something you'd like to offer right now, please feel free. Any question is welcome. Sir?
When the state sends a delegation out to a trade show, is there a specific team that is picked? And what are the positions on the team? Who is taken? And how are the selections made?
Jamie or Mark, do you want to answer that? I would say, from my experience, there's not been a theme. It's just Hawaii in general, which is a fantastic brand right there, right? When you're going to join a Hawaii pavilion, you're getting all of the free marketing behind the word Hawaii and aloha and what have you that the rest of the world accepts as a very positive image. I always, when I'm teaching the marketing courses, I use the example of Transylvania. There is a place called Transylvania, and there's people there that are trying to export product. Now, when you hear the word Transylvania, what comes to mind? It's not necessarily a positive image, but with Hawaii and aloha and sunshine and beaches and water, that's a fantastic amount of marketing that is behind you. So when you go to one of these Hawaii pavilions and you see the work that DBET's put into building that pavilion and the booths there, you do get a feeling of Hawaii and aloha, and that gives the customers that are coming by your booth that instant marketing gratification of Hawaii.
Hi. Yeah, per your point, when we go and organize these pavilions overseas, I think we do put thought into what is the messaging, because we do trade show build out, so we have structures and things that we build. I know I work on one of the life science shows. We try to look at the assets Hawaii has. We put some marketing materials together. In other words, we try to put our best foot forward depending on the industry, what might resonate with trade show attendees, potential buyers, partners, that type of thing. So there is sort of some thought put into it around our marketing materials, trade show build out, and that type of thing. Maybe I'll let Jamie also jump in on this.
We also, depending on the show, because a lot of times the show organizers will put together a specific package or give our Hawaii companies as part of the Hawaii Pavilion certain kind of opportunities to promote themselves before and after the show, direct emails to buyers and so forth. So it also depends on the show itself and the relationship we have with the show organizer and what they can put together for us.
Here's a couple of images up here. I would say that, you know, it costs a few $100,000 to build a pavilion like this, and so we can't alter it every year. It basically is built to a certain theme, which is just Hawaii in general, and then it's put away until the next year when we have the show again in that particular market. So the theme doesn't necessarily adjust every year, but we try to build out the Hawaii-ness as much as possible. Does that answer your question? Sure. Any other questions? John?
For Jamie, Jamie, could you just share what makes Natural Products Expo such a great show? Natural Products Expo, can you share, talk about that?
Okay. John mentioned the Natural Products Expo West. So it's the first time that we're going, that we've designated this show for a Hawaii Pavilion. A lot of that is because we've had difficulty getting into the show. It's a huge show in Anaheim. It's in March. And it's for natural and organic products. So we find that we have, and we've had a lot of our companies express interest in going to that show because so many of our products fit into that category, whether they're food or skincare or supplements. So I encourage, and the one thing about that show, you do have to qualify, and it's qualification per the show organizer. They have certain product standards. So when you submit an application, then they will send you an email, you know, letting you know whether or not your product qualifies to be in their show. So we have nothing to do with that portion, but once you are qualified, then you can be part of the Hawaii Pavilion. So.
When is that? I would echo what Jamie said, that over the years, 7 years now that we've been doing this, we see a lot of the companies that come through this program are based on natural products. That's why I think that this will be an excellent show for Hawaii companies. You had a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, how much stone carver is my stones considered natural then?
Stone carver? Sure, that would be a natural product. I think you have your first customer.
Well, but I would urge you to go to the website because they are specific. They, the Natural Products Expo West, they will list the different product standards and by different categories as well. So.
Yes, sir, in the back. Ma'am, sorry, I can't see you.
Okay,
No, that's fine.
so have you guys considered doing a trade show here that actually does feature the natural and cultural conservation products like stone carving, wood carving, coconut weaving, and all the things that make Hawaii amazing? Because what I've experienced in the last 5 years is that people coming to Hawaii are no longer informed as to what Hawaiian culture is anymore, and they're not purchasing products that are from Hawaii. They're purchasing products that are imported from China, that are printed on in China, and then promoted as Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? So what I've experienced as a market vendor, going to conferences and all kinds of things, is that people don't have access to the real Hawaiian products. And so is there a way that we can come together and have our own trade show here in Hawaii where we feature those products again? Because I think that our even our tourism flow is depleting the economy in the state of Hawaii because they don't know that they should be purchasing those products.
It's a great idea. You're not the first person I've heard say such a thing. And I do know a couple of nonprofit organizations that are trying to organize something. And I'd like to put you in touch with them because I think that they could use a little push to move that forward. But I do think that that's a great idea. Remember, our bailiwick is exporting. So we're trying to target customers in Japan and Korea and Brazil and Italy and what have you.
Something I was saying. So
Yeah.
we used to have customers coming here from Japan, Korea, and all these places, and they were my best customers.
Sure.
I paid like thousands of dollars a day just with leads because those people were coming here to get my product. But now those people don't
Oh.
So like, there was a time in my business predominantly exports to international customers. Now I don't have that same.
Oh, that's interesting. What is your product? I'm sorry, I don't know.
I'm a coconut weaver.
Coconut weaver, that's interesting. And you would send product directly to Japan, or you would have customers coming here?
Customers specifically for those products. Now they're not. Like that's my personal issue. But I'm saying like I had a really good export business where like my baskets went worldwide and global for a really long time. And I was doing some shipping, and I still do shipping to like the United States. My sister has a shop in Maui, and we do ship a lot out. But at the same time, like we're still managing all of that. But I'm saying like I want to be able to like sit in the state of Hawaii and have people exporting their goods to their country without me having to ship them. You know what I mean? I want people to come here for my product and export it for themselves.
Well, remember, technically, though, that doesn't count as an export. We have to put it on a boat or a plane. You have to put it on a boat or a plane and send it to somebody to count as an export. However, we are interested in tourists that are coming here, buying product, taking it back, and then helping develop a local market there where you could store product maybe and sell it directly to their friends who they talk to or what have you. That would count as an export. But I understand where you're coming from. That's an interesting. Do you have anything to say on that? Let's talk about this after, because I'm interested. I'd like to put you in touch with those people that I know. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't that what the Made in Hawaii festival is?
True. Have you been to the Made in Hawaii festival? That's a big one over at Blaisdell, and then there's also I think you. Oh, okay. You said your sister on Maui. I've been to the excellent Made in Maui festival, which I know there's a lot of international buyers that come to that, and I would encourage her to be a part of that. But here, the Made in Hawaii festival is huge. They have something like, I don't know, 800 booths or something at Blaisdell. It's an enormous thing that goes on for 3 days, and you can barely walk in Blaisdell in there. It's so crowded, and I would encourage you to look at that too. There's plenty of international buyers that come to that, but I wouldn't say that it's an internationally specific show. But I think that that's something that you could look at. There's also I'm drawing a blank on the name, but there's the new place on Ward that took over the Sports Authority. Yeah, that's pretty interesting too. If you go in there, it's a lot of local products, and you can just rent a booth from them on a monthly basis and sell your product in there. And I see that venue showing up now in the Japanese tour books, and people are going in there. And they're using that to kick off. A lot of Japanese tourists are coming and going to Kaka'ako, walking tours and taking photos of the different murals that are around. And so they're starting off at that facility. Again, what's the name of it? I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, Ohana Marketplace. And it used to be where Sports Authority was, right on Ward. And then they're using that to start the walking tour of Kaka'ako. But so you see them, they're buying things because I see them carrying bags of stuff that they bought there, and then they're putting the bags down in order to take pictures of the murals. So it's successful to some aspect for a potential exporter. So, any more comments? Yes?
Yeah, I had a question about the company assistance
Sure.
program. Can that be for something that we've already spent money on? Like we traveled a couple months ago and we were reimbursed. It's got to be for something.
Yeah, you will have had to have been registered in a program, which is free, and then just gone through the process and get the approval of it ahead of time. Because what they're doing, they're going to vet your export plan that you'll write in the application process and just say, what are you going to do with the money? And as Mark said during his talk, they're measuring the ROI that those expenses are bringing back to the state of Hawaii. But I would encourage you to just register today. It doesn't cost anything, and it's useful to get in and be notified of other programs too. Anybody? Okay, then with that, let's close the program for today. I'd like to thank all of our speakers, especially DBET. Thank you again for the wonderful grant to be able to put this year's programming on. I'll invite everybody to stick around, have some more coffee, snacks, and meet individually with the speakers. Everybody's going to stay around for 20 minutes or so and do a little talk story. So thank you again. Mahalo, everybody, for coming today.